era of Orokin rule, the feudal systems present on every planet controlled by the Orokin contributed to poverty, low life standard with the golden people at the top. The most common class was the caste level of what we would call peasants, one of the members being Parvos Granum, the Little Seed. He, his brother Claudius, and also his father overworked themselves to supply the rich few in the city close to their home in the fields. Their backs aching and hands covered in bloody blisters, they pushed on, collecting grain, but then one fateful day, Parvos heard a whisper, speaking in a foreign language to him, not of a man, but of something unnatural.
Fear not poverty. Poverty is the bitter soil in which sweet desire blossoms.
He did not know this language, but he did understand it instinctively. Parvos yet worked the field forward, becoming impatient, telling himself he deserves more. But not knowing how to accomplish that feat, he once again heard the whisper.
Fortune despises the idle man. Stasis is death. Always move forward.
So he wiped the dirt off his hands, left the fields and headed to the city. The golden towers entering his view made him angry, resentful of the Orokin, who feasted on the food they took from the mouth of a common man. He entered the city and saw a massive gate of one of the towers, gilded with beautiful jewelry. The voice once again entered his head.
Be envious, covet, then take what you desire.
He knew exactly what he wanted and ran to take the shining jewels. He quickly snatched them, put them in his satchel, and ran away with the Orokin guard on his tail. The guard tracked him down and dragged him to the tower's square, full of Orokin servants. The guard held up the satchel Parvos tried to hide his minerals in. Parvos on the ground reached out to the satchel, but the guard snatched his hand and brutally sliced it off with a plasma dagger. The crowd cheered and Parvos has not felt pain. He only heard the whisper.
Deception is the sword of wisdom. Be wise.
The guards left him bleeding on the square, taking his hand away. Parvos, one-handed and still bleeding, crawled back to his father's home and collapsed at his family's step. He was near death, so they read him his Nava rites, a religion not mentioned in our time. His brother Claudius marked Parvos as a fool, expressing his hate for abandoning the fields, making Parvos guilty. He didn't know what to do, so he asked the whisper, it answering.
Beware the idle man who would lull you back to idleness.
Hearing that, Parvos became so motivated he sprang out of the death-ridden bed and went to the fields. He fell on his knees, feeling a rough sensation in his chest, moving up to his mouth. Parvos was out of breath, feeling the grasp of death on him. But then, his throat convulsed. He spat out the purest, reddest ruby jewel he ever saw, worth more than what his family has earned in the last 10 generations. He would finally be able to keep the family fed for life, swimming in his beautiful thoughts, till the whisper screamed.
Contentment is idleness. Desire inspires action. Nurture all desires.
Parvos became aware of his emotions, stood up and went to the city once again, leaving his 2 family members behind who screamed for him to come back. Parvos desired money, but empty-handed he had nothing. Voice once again making his appearance to him, telling him that
money begets money.
He went and secured a loan, the ruby jewel as collateral, giving away loans to the people of equal status to him, poor and desperate. With it, he made money from money, interest upon interest, and so he got what he desired. Men and women flocked to the new prophet, preaching of the evil that is idleness, and to follow their desires at all costs. Parvos' money multiplied and multiplied to the point of making his body whole again. with a golden hand, but not all was spectacular. The news came to him that his father passed out in the fields. Parvos rushed to his family home, but his father sadly already passed away before his arrival. Seeing Claudius at his father's side, Parvos became angry and committed to end of his family's suffering that stained it for generations. The Whisper agreeing with him.
Charity is power. More charity is more power.
Claudius begged Parvos to stop the mayhem, but the things have already been set to motion. Parvos destroyed the farm and the fields with the battalion of mega dozers. His brother in tears, fearing what will they eat without the fields and what will happen to the family traditions. Parvos blissful to his pleas, only listening to the Whisper.
Shun sentimentality. It is a weakness that binds the idle man.
Feeling the pride his father would have, when Parvos smashed his now former home, he felt the bitter sadness that his father would also not see the glory of Corposium, the city built on desire, to lure in the idle men and make them desire things, to once again make more desire. Whisper approved.
Fulfill desire, and others will follow.
Parvos continued his philosophy of rejecting idleness and following desires, bonding together into groups to make their effect exponential. Through the power of money, the golden hand of Parvos Granum leading his flock, stating,
We are desire. We are Corpus.
Parvos Granum, the man now acting as the CEO, the Central Executive Officer of Cult Corpus, with the Corpus Board of Directors as the management, acting under authorization from the Golden Hand himself. He developed many technologies with the Corpus scientists during the Orokin era, one of those things called the Spectre particle theory, a technology that allowed him to imprint behaviors into specters that would mimic what was imprinted into them. They made the Orokin themselves curious at the happenings in the labs, so they sent a squad of Warframes to deal with this power-threatening research. The Tenno arrived, but found the labs ransacked and already destroyed. Upon realizing it was a trap, a massive bomb was detonated, vaporizing the lab and the invading Tenno. Orokin, amused at this, assumingly made an undisclosed deal with Parvos Granum, giving him a Tenno bodyguard, an enforcer called Protea, who would protect him at all costs. But there was some things that were even out of a Tenno bodyguard's hands. Parvos, constantly limiting the power of the board, made one or more of the 7 members salty, leading to an eventual assassination attempt. They corrupted the void jump equipment in his spaceship, leading to an absolute destruction of the ship now lost to the void, and the end of Parvos Granum with it. The board of directors, now fully in charge, put greed and Ponzi schemes at the first place, rather than following the Corpus doctrine, making the whole Corpus society rotten. Numerous wars broke out with the Grineer after the Orokin fall, Corpus usually on the losing side, if there weren't for the Tenno, but a glimpse of hope was found with a potential heir to the Corpus throne. In the midst of the board of directors, Anyo. Anyo was eager to prove he is Parvos' son by searching the void for the remains of his father. His attempt was shrouded in conspiracy and caught the attention of the Tenno, and the newly formed Solaris United, the thorn in Nef's heels. The Tenno did beat Anyo and found the body of Parvos Granum, but not dead, still alive, protected by his bodyguard, Protea. He called upon Anyo, shaming him and his actions while being one of the members of the Corpus, and eventually escaping and informing the Tenno the Corpus will receive a violent reconstruction, which upon not working will be disbanded, and that Parvos will move to a new doctrine. Granum seized back the control over the board and has them on a tight leash, funding his efforts in the previously discovered Spectre particle technology and newly instated sister program, led by Vala Glarius, a member of the Corpus, saved by Parvos when the Tenno banished her into the void with the ghost rolljack called Tempestari. Parvos always imagined he had a sister who would help him make risky investments and insidious plots, but now he finally found one. Her arrival sent many things in motion, not only the sister program to get the finest candidates for the Corpus masses, but also development of new, powerful business-oriented weaponry, and the Hounds serving as sisters' bodyguards, all in preparation of the impending new war against the Sentients, stating to the Tenno he might give an alliance with them a chance upon its arrival.
She'd be at my side, axe in hand.